I'm Karen Burniston, the designer of Pop-It-Ups dies for Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I'm here with a sneak peek of 6 more of my new summer release dies. These will be available in July 2014. There is one new pivot card in this release. It is number 912, the Evergreen pivot card. If you are new to our dies, just know that when they come, they are still all connected together. So what you use is your Elizabeth Craft Designs die snips and die file set to both snip them into their individual pieces as well as file down any sharp points that remain. The Evergreen pivot card is just like any of the other pivot cards in that it does have the little alignment nubs. What you use those for is to help you align the die over the center fold of any size card. So any card that will fit through your die cutting machine is game for the pivot cards. After you've die cut the pivot card die, then all you do to train it is you just fold the card in the usual direction while working the pivoting items to pivot in the opposite direction, and then just give the pivot points a little squish. Now when that opens, what will happen is those evergreen trees are going to pivot so that they decorate the front of the card and the inside of the card at the same time. I think you'll find yourself reaching for the decorator dies from the pivot card die for a lot of other cards as well. It comes with things like a die to cut 4 stars, a die to cut 9 ornaments, and all of the tree decorator dies have an emboss feature on them. You'll be able to use the Evergreen pivot card for lots of outdoor themes, but of course it also will work great for your holiday cards, and you can see here all of those decorator pieces used together to make a holiday card. A new die that's going to work great with the Evergreen pivot card is the Outdoor Edges die. So what this die does is it comes with 3 different edge pieces. Just take the die snips and separate them. And then in each case, it's only going to cut the edge. So you'll be able to decide how tall a piece you want or whether you're just edging the edge of a card. Doesn't matter. There's grass, rolling hills, or those could be snow. And then there's one that has little evergreen trees attached to the edge. Let's take a look at a few finished cards made by the design team. This one's by Karen Aiken, and she did a tone-on-tone with the Evergreen pivot card, and then she used the outdoor edges to make the rolling snow. Kaz Council went to her stamp collection to find some fun images to use with the Evergreen pivot card and the outdoor edges. And same thing here with a card by Frances Byrne, using some of her stamped images and the Evergreen pivot card and the outdoor edges. And then here's a fun card by Fran Sabad, and in this case she used the tripling technique. There's a video that'll teach you how to do that with any of the pivot cards. There is a new general pop-up die, and that is the Lana Label. Lorna was my grandmother's name, so that's who I named this die after. You can see when it comes it will need to be snipped apart into all its individual pieces. This one is the pop-up die, and it does have the alignment nubs for the center of the card. Align those nubs anywhere along the fold of any size card and then roll it through the die cutting machine. It will cut the pop-up right into the card. You do need to work the folds. Probably the easiest is to fold it in half again, then get your thumbs into the bottom little box. So I've got my thumbs in there, my fingers in there. I'm going to work the fold where the box touches the card and where the box turns. Then I'm going all the way to the top, where the Lorna label touches the back wall and where it touches the label, I'll work those 2 folds. Now you'll see that both the platforms are coming into the card. So from there, you should be able to just carefully close the card, and that will train everything else, and then you'll get your little double pop-up. I think my favorite thing about the Lorna label is how much real estate you have. It's really quite a large label, and you'll be able to use your peel-off stickers. You can use the character dies. Any of the other dies will fit nicely up there on the label. It is close to the back wall, and that's what allows it to be so large, but still fit even in an A2 sized card. Let's look at a couple great design team samples. This first one is by Fran Sabad. She used the Chili the Penguin and Props 1 dies to make a little couple for a newlywed card. And then Kelly Booth combined a lot of different dies on this card using the Lorna label. She also has Poppy the Owl, the All Seasons Tree, the Fence from the House pivot card, the Outdoor Edges. Just a great, great card. I really like this card by Raquel Mason where she used the outdoor edges for the front of the card. She made a very clever little closure here with a little flap that tucks in. And then inside is the Lana Label Die, and what she's used is the decorator pieces from the Evergreen pivot card, and you can see all of those decorated with their emboss feature with some glitter. And then right on the front of the Lana Label is the new Holiday House. We're going to look at that die next. The concept with the Holiday House number 918 is that it's just a decorator die that makes a cute house. So you can use it for all your flat projects and cards. It does have 10 pieces in the die, so just snip them apart and you'll see all of those great pieces that you have. Various ways you can combine them, but here's an idea, the one from the packaging, showing how you can make it into a little holiday house. It coordinates perfectly with the house pivot card, so you can either use just those pieces on the house pivot card, or you can even kind of mix and match the pieces from the two different houses, as Kelly Booth did here for this cute little holiday house pivot card. It really is the wreath and the little Christmas lights that make it look like a holiday house. If you leave those off, you can definitely style this house all year round, as Helen Cryer did here, putting it on the Lucy label Pop It Up style. Okay, for those of you who are not quite into cute penguins and owls and such, I offer you the Clock and Gears die. This was actually a special request. Shelley Hickox on my design team said, hey, I'd love to see a clock face that would fit on the accordion albums, the circle accordions. And so this is what I came up with. What it has is it has a 3-inch circle die, but then it has the little clock overlay. And what that does is the clock overlay piece cuts the numbers out as holes. So what you do is you just take your Elizabeth Craft Designs tweezers or some other item, if they're still stuck in there, and just poke out all of those numbers. They will become holes. Then when you layer the overlay clock piece over the background piece, all of the numbers will show up with the contrast of the layer underneath. 3 little Roman numeral dies are also included in the set in case you'd just like to use the big solid circle as a background and then create your own clock using the Roman numerals. So that's another option. Another cool thing about this die set is that all of the numbers that fall out of those holes are usable as their own little dies, as well as 2 gears and the clock hands themselves. Raquel Mason sent me this great little ring accordion using Poppy the Owl and the Clock and Gears set, and you can see how nicely that will fit right on the ring accordion. It will also fit on the circle accordion die and the new spiral circle pull card. There are so many ways to use the spiral circle pull card that it's going to get its own video, but I'll go over it really quickly here. It does come with a lot of decorator pieces, including the spiral itself. Now, it does have a little closure on it, so when you fold that up, it's got these little tuck slots that keep it closed. Then when you want to open it, you just pull. When you pull it, the little circle's going to flip over, the spiral's going to pop up, whatever you have put on the spiral is going to fly. I mentioned that the new Clock and Gears is going to work great on the spiral circle pull card, and here's an example of that, using the gears on the spiral and the clock on the front of the card. When you close the card, you can re-engage the little closure, just kind of bend it and get the little tuck slots over the edge, and then now it's going to be held closed again until you're ready to pull it open. You're going to start to see why it needs its own video. Here's one where the spiral is open, so you see it in the closed position, you have no idea, but when you pull it open, those snowflakes that are on that spiral are going to fly up in the air. And again, it does have a little closure if you want to use it to keep the card closed. This is a Pop It Up die, so what that means, it has alignment nubs. You can align it up on any size card, anywhere along the fold, which means you can do fun things like doubles, like Raquel Mason has done here, where instead of using the spiral inside the card, she used it to make 3D roses on the front of the card. And here's one that I made that has a waterfall technique. So you pull one open, then you move a little bit down the way, and then there's another one cut into the card, and again, you just pull to engage it. So I'll go over this die more in depth in its own video coming soon, and that'll include more great ideas by the design team. Visit the Elizabeth Craft Designs website for more information about the Pop It Up Summer 2014 release. It should be in stores by the middle of July 2014. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. You can always find more ideas on my blog, KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching.